Hi folks, well, moon's in Sagittarius, so I thought I might as well do the video on the moon in Sagittarius. I've done every other moon now. There's one or two that I've not published yet, but they'll be out in the coming few days. The moon in Sagittarius, I'm biased. I've got the moon in Sagittarius. The moon is about one's feelings and sensitivities and habit patterns. Sagittarius is not necessarily the most subtle sign of the zodiac. It's straightforward and it believes in a simple lifestyle, but subtlety isn't high on its agenda. Hence, the moon in Sagittarius is not known for its diplomacy or tact. It is much more of a kind of blunderbuss, barging in in a naive and innocent way, but normally gets positive results because people can't believe that you'd be that stupid otherwise. And somehow it's managed to get me through a lot of scrapes. The moon is often associated with one's residence and home and location, and Sagittarius is a sign that's most commonly associated with travel. So the moon is Sagittarius person, to them the idea of living out of a rucksack, at least in their teens or their 20s or 30s, is not such a difficult challenge. And the idea of travelling to see the world is not so much for party or beach or package holiday as much as it is for ethnicity and culture study, anthropology, and learning by direct experience and going native fast. It's about learning different philosophies, and there's nothing quite like direct experience to do this. At the same time, the moon in Sagittarius has a deep-rooted fear of committing oneself to a particular belief, philosophy, course of action, or commitment in life. Commitment and responsibility is harder for the moon in Sagittarius when young than it is with any other planet, including the sun in Sagittarius. And it's only really once the progressed moon and a half return has happened, around about 38, 39 to 40 years old, that really the knowledge of responsibility and commitment is not so much directed towards other as much as it is towards oneself. As long as the moon in Sagittarius individual thinks that they're doing their best, as long as they're striving, then that's good enough. And the only person who can decide what is the best is the moon in Sagittarius individual. However, there is always this tendency for hedonism, for glossing over and trivializing some of the problems which actually go quite deep. And this needs to be dealt with. Otherwise, moon in Sagittarius people can become quite superficial. And people will not really take their words too seriously. Thing is with the moon in Sagittarius, they never really do anything by half measures. You notice them, you can't help it. They're nearly always clumsy in some shape or form. And they will nearly always drop themselves in it by saying exactly the wrong thing at exactly the wrong time. But at the same time, they make people laugh. They inspire people. They've got big dreams, big visions. They tell good stories. They're good storytellers. They're clowns in a way. They enjoy making people laugh. They feel more valuable, more wanted if they're making people laugh. They feel that people will love them more. Moon in Sagittarius, they become more and more altruistic and philosophical as they age, and many of them end up in positions involving religion or publishing or teaching. There's the spreading of knowledge, the gaining of, the understanding of, and the spreading and dissemination of knowledge with Moon in Sagittarius. Often knowledge gained from a number of different courses, sources and cultures. The thing about Moon in Sagittarius is that they don't really grow up until they're 40. Post 40, they're quite willing to give any amount of time into something if they feel that the reward will be long enough in terms of meaning. Moon in Sagittarius is one of the most profound signs of the zodiac. It needs to find a meaning and a depth of philosophy in what it does, because without that, there is a lack of substance and thus they don't hang around long. If you want to keep a moon in Sagittarius, speak to them in foreign accents, cook them foreign food, and engage them with interesting discussions around philosophy and religion. And if you want to lose them fast, tell them that they're not being responsible and committed enough, and you won't see them for dust. Okay, That's it on the moon signs, and I'm going to be doing something different quite soon. But until then, catch you later. Bye.